We appreciate Henry Barber joining us this morning. Good conversation, as always, with him. And now we go to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where Gerard Gibert is standing by. He is host of MidDays with Gerard Gibert right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Good morning, my friend. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with us from a very cold Washington, D.C.
Hey, morning, everybody. Yes, it is definitely cold, and, I feel like that a pall has been draped over the state of Mississippi. That's P-A-L-L, over the passing of our brother in broadcasting, Paul Gallo, the Godfather, the Dean of Talk Radio. Man, it's so sad. He indeed will be missed, and he's played such a pivotal role of shaping our lives in Mississippi, certainly influencing the political scene. It's amazing. Once you sit in that chair, you learn just how many people do pay attention, especially in our nation's capital, our delegation, as well, of course, as our state capital. But, man, it's shocking. It's sad. His legacy will endure forever. We should all hope to be up to his standard. And I got to tell you, the very first time he ever referred to me as his brother in broadcasting, and that's the way he liked to reference those of us who sit behind that mic. I got a little chill bumps, honestly, that he would even consider me at his level to refer to me as a brother. And so, man, it's a sad day. He will be missed.
There's no question about that, Gerard. And, the thing with Paul, there was such a passion for what he did. It wasn't just his job. It was what he believed in. He understood the responsibility that existed sitting behind this microphone every single morning. He took it very, very seriously. He was passionate about what he believed in. I joked with Henry just a second ago, you never really had any question as to where Paul stood on an issue. He didn't hide behind his beliefs. He stood beside those, and he did it in the name of making Mississippi a better place.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. There was no doubt where he stood. And, Richard, it's a bit ironic, is it not, that we're also celebrating the inauguration of the 47th president, and but Paul, shall we say, did not hold back on his exposure of the people, even here far away from Mississippi, but in the nation's capital, that have so much impact and influence on our lives. And you're well aware that he would often come into that studio. Many people may not know this. Sometimes 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and just pour through lots of video and sound bites and get all that teed up for his program. And immediately when you turn it on in the morning, you're getting like this rush of news that he would assemble for you, and you were able to keep up and find out exactly what's going on in the country and, of course, in the state. And that's what we'll miss.
Gerard, let's switch gears to where you are, Washington, D.C. today for the inauguration, a different inauguration than we thought was going to happen. It was announced on Friday that the inauguration ceremony itself was being moved inside the Capitol. It was going to happen in the rotunda as opposed to out on the steps of the Capitol overlooking the mall there in Washington. Going to feel a little bit different, but that does not change the significance of this day in American history.
That's absolutely right. And as you know, I thought I would be talking to you right now from the lawn of the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah.
Had seats, chair seats, which is kind of a hard ticket to get. I thought that's where we'd be talking to you right now. I'm actually in the lobby of our hotel in College Park, Maryland, and we're headed to a watch party that Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith and Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas are hosting later. Looking forward to that. I've also got to share with you, Richard, that last night we connected with Joel and Natasha, hosts of America's Roundtable Radio. Good. You've interviewed them. I've interviewed them. What a blast that was. We ended up at the Ritz-Carlton after picking our tickets up at the Union Pub. That's where the Mississippi delegation had us meet to pick our tickets up. Went to the Ritz-Carlton and sat down in the lobby there for about 3.5 hours, just talking about a lot of different things. And one of the things they pointed out to me was the heightened level of security of course, they having been around prior inaugurations, Humvees riding all over the roads in the Capitol complex, not something they had ever observed before. Roads closed due to security that they had not seen before. And it's, I think, for obvious reasons, and I think it's prudent to do that. The other thing they pointed out I thought was rather fascinating was in the lobby there and in the shops and the bars is the number of Republicans all over the place who are easy to identify with their various Trump and MAGA attire and merchandise. They said, you didn't see any of that in the last cycle. So it does feel like that there's a new sheriff in town. We're turning over a new leaf. There's an air of optimism, I think, and we look forward to that.
Take us a little deeper on that, just kind of the vibe in and around Washington, D.C., inside the Beltway, just outside the Beltway. Washington is an interesting place. It has its own energy, and it's energy that sometimes changes every 4 years based on whether or not it's a Democrat in power in the White House or a Republican. We have that unique scenario, though, Gerard, right now, where it's Republicans that control the House, the Senate, the White House. There was a popular vote victory. This is very much all red right now. What does it feel like?
Well, let's be honest. Expectations are high, and optimism is high, and so the people expect swift action. They want to see measurable results. You're probably aware, you've seen the reports, over 100 executive orders are slated to be signed by the president after he is sworn in, after he delivers his remarks. And this is about 3 times as many as Joe Biden signed on his first day. I recall vividly being on the air and discussing that. But a good bit of that is rolling back, reversing those which were signed by President Biden, which to a great extent rolled back or reversed what the prior President Trump had signed in his first term. So I think folks want to see the border closed. That's a big thing. He has got a series of orders ready to tee up to do that. They want to see unleashing of American energy to drive pricing down. We're going to see that. So that's going to be front and center, and I think people just feel good that they're going to see action like right off the bat. And the president-elect has vowed to do so. He says, you're going to see stuff happen you're going to be happy this week.
Yeah, it's interesting. There was a story that popped last night. A lot of rumbling over the last couple of days that Chicago and New York are going to be the first 2 targets of Tom Homan for mass deportation exercises. But I'm not sure that information was supposed to get out as quickly as it did, and maybe they are changing their plan a little bit. Anything you're hearing, any rumblings about what that activity is going to look like as soon as tomorrow?
I've seen the same, and most of that I think has been communicated by Tom Homan himself, and he is a man on a mission. That's pretty clear, and he has delivered the message. Don't think about standing in the way at the local or state level. The federal government and its power and its obligation overrides here, and trumps you, pun intended. I just hope, Richard, I support this, especially folks that are in this country illegally that are involved in crime and criminal activity and harming Americans and sucking resources and so forth. I just hope it's done prudently, responsibly, methodically, because any misstep, the Democrats are lurking in the background to pounce on it. And I don't want that to happen. And because it needs to be done, I do have confidence in the president and Tom Homan in that respect.
You mentioned your visit with Joel last night from America's Roundtable. Any reaction? I know they're very locked in on Middle East politics to the ceasefire agreement and the release of hostages in the Israel-Hamas war.
Yeah, they believe that it's largely due to the president-elect being sworn in today, that there is some degree of fear. I think that he is stoked in the region, and they do feel like he had a bigger hand in negotiating this deal than the current president, though the current president would argue otherwise.
Sure.
Everybody's looking for attribution, but that's their sense, and that's their take on it. I should also share that they have been gracious enough to invite me to a meeting with Senator Marsha Blackburn tomorrow afternoon at the Capitol, along with some other business folks, to talk about taxes. You know, that's a big issue, and it's going to be a very controversial one as well, a matter. But the big thing is the Trump tax cuts expire at the end of this year, and everybody's taxes are going up. We don't extend them and take action. So they asked me to just participate in a little meeting. I'm honored. I'm flattered. Looking forward to that tomorrow, and look forward to bringing that the results of that meeting back to our audience.
Gerard, thanks for your time. Enjoy this special day in American history, and we'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy talking to you guys. Thanks a lot.